No way.
Oh, I know who it is.
Oh, wow.
It is time, 10:15, for our popular weekly segment called I Want to Know, segment where I surprise our anchors with a leading expert to answer one of their burning questions. And the best part is the guest sticks around to chat with us, and these guys have no idea who it is. The clue, guys, was to infinity and beyond. Today we are answering one of Vanessa's questions. Vanessa did ask, what is it really like living in space?
Yeah.
Here's our guest, okay? Here are your clues. A veteran of 4 space flights. 4.
Oh.
Okay? He set the record for the total accumulated number of days spent in space. This single longest space mission by an American astronaut. He was up there longer than anybody ever. Okay?
Is it Buzz?
He has an identical twin brother who is also a retired astronaut and senator-elect from Arizona. Please welcome former military fighter pilot, test pilot, engineer, retired U.S. Navy captain, and retired astronaut Scott Kelly.
I did the twin.
Oh, Cha-Cha, you said it.
I got it.
Morning, Scott. We're a rambunctious
Mr.
group.
Kelly.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
I know it's early for
We're
you,
sorry.
so thank you for waking up. I know we're very excited to chat with you. The longest time in space. Vanessa has a lot of questions. Take it away, Vanessa.
First of all, Mr. Kelly, how are you? How was your holiday? How's the family?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Family's fine, and the holiday was different. But
Yes.
that's expected.
Awesome. Well, great to see you. My first question is, how much is actually recycled in space?
Not as much as you might think. You know, even though the space station is a great example of a renewable energy system because we have these giant solar arrays, we get all the power from the sun. The only thing that's really recycled is our urine and our sweat, and the humidity in the atmosphere is turned into water that we drink, which is actually, you know, it's not bad. It's pretty.
Wait a second. So you were up there the longest ever, but you're talking about the recycled air. Do you start to smell?
You know, the space station has some interesting smells to it, depending on where you're located.
Like you can't crack a window if you pass wind.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You just get used to it.
I mean, you could do it. You could do it once.
Before what? Before somebody? Oh, well, that's right, because then
Right.
you'd be ejected.
Yeah.
What else
So,
you got?
Mr. Kelly, staying on that topic, we obviously have been reporting on that new toilet that was just sent to the ISS. Apparently, it's supposed to make it easier for female astronauts to use. What are your thoughts on that in the comparison with the old space toilet?
So I'm actually interested to know how it works, because a toilet in space is a pretty complicated piece of machinery. And fortunately, a female astronaut that I was in space with 10 years ago, Shannon Walker, is now back on the space station. She just got up there on the SpaceX launch last week or about 2 weeks ago. So I'll ask her how it's going. I'll report back.
You were up there for for a year. What was it like being up there for a year, getting, just besides missing your family, right? What did you have to get used to the most? I know this wasn't your first mission, but you're up there longer than ever. What was the most difficult thing? Was it maybe sleeping?
It's like being in quarantine during a pandemic.
Except you float.
But, you miss your family, your friends, even though you're up there with other people and they're generally good people. It's all the people you miss on Earth. You miss, going outside and the weather and, freedom of choice. We don't, there's not a whole lot to do other than your work. And, so when you go to sleep, you're at work, you wake up, you're still at work. It's tough in that regard. But, when you understand it's your mission to do that, it makes it a lot easier. And I think, with this pandemic, it's kind of the same way. There are things we don't like to do, but it's all part of our jobs to do them.
Well, and to that point, hi, Marisol Castro, underneath you in the Brady Bunch box. Being up in space is truly working from home. But when I'm home, I can walk out the door and take my dog for a walk or go to the park. But you're around it 24/7. What is time like for you up in space, and how do you order your day and night?
So, it is different in that regard, in that you can't go outside and you have very little choice. We operate on Greenwich Mean Time. So our schedules are based on that. We wake up, just based on the time, not based on the sun, obviously, when you're orbiting the Earth. And, your day is pretty much built for you by the mission people in mission control. So they schedule you from morning until night. You do a lot of science. You maintain the space station systems. You repair stuff that breaks. Work days are pretty long. Generally you work about 6 days a week. 1 day off on the weekends. But there are a lot of similarities between pandemic living and space living. But certainly space is a lot more challenging.
Did the view ever get old?
I wouldn't say it gets old, but when you're up there, because the Earth is so beautiful, but it does get, it gets, very recognizable. And like I would be able to, tell where I was over the Earth by the color of the light that was seeping in the window underneath, like the window shade is how, used to, looking out at the planet you get.
Crazy. Ben?
Is space like Vegas, where what happens in space stays in space? Like you have an agreement with the other astronauts, like we don't talk about this. This is between us.
Yeah, for some things.
I'm so curious. So curious what those things
OG?
Oh, okay. So, earlier today, sir, you have such an amazing life. Earlier today, we were talking about how the rapper Drake wants to play President Obama in a movie, right? And thinking of your life, it has to be a movie. There's no way. I'm sure somewhere down the line. So have you been approached? If not, if so, have you thought about someone to play you?
Oh, Gary Sinise. That's Gary Sinise.
If not, but there are different versions of him. We want to see how he started. Was he in 3rd grade saying, I want to be an astronaut, and now here he is, an astronaut? Yeah. You know how many things I said I wanted to be and never became? But here you are.
You want to be an astronaut.
Yeah. I think, if someone had to play me in a movie, probably the best person would be this guy named Mark Kelly.
Touche.
I think it's like George Clooney.
Let me ask you about your brother, Mark Kelly. All right, we have a picture of the two of you right there. Did you ever feel like you had to compete with him when you were up in space? I mean, you were like, I'm going to go up there the longest. But then he got you because... Okay.
I didn't, and I won that competition clearly, right?
But
now he just got elected to be the U.S. Senator, so I got to figure out
that.
something else to do.
When you got back, though, were you shorter than him?
No, I was a little taller, but just briefly.
So what happens when you're in space? Like you stretch? You stretch?
Yeah, without gravity, you stretch.
For real?
I need to go up to
Yeah,
space.
you probably
Oh my
stretch
God,
when you're
Marisol, could you
sleeping at
imagine?
night.
Also,
Marisol would reach 5'6".
I'm telling you.
some people believe in aliens, some people don't. Have you ever seen anything up there, like in the movies that go, and then you're like, it's
classified.
That's
I was
E.T.
gonna
Have
ask
you seen
that.
E.T. in outer space?
I was always hoping that I would open like the window covering in the morning and there'd be like an alien.
Oh, best prank ever. Best prank ever.
Never happened.
So do you believe in aliens? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson was on, and he was like, with all the phones in the world, all we have is this tiny, grainy graphic video from the Air Force.
Yeah, why did the aliens that visited the planet decided to stop coming when everyone got a phone and video recorder in their pocket?
Right.
Right? They knew. I believe that there's probably life in the universe, intelligent life, perhaps somewhere, because the numbers are just astronomical with the possibilities of where life could live and develop. But the distances are so great that I doubt highly that any intelligent life form has ever visited this planet. Except for us.
Still waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting.
Semi-intelligent.
Because this was Vanessa's question, we're going to let Vanessa have the last word
Yes.
here.
Mr. Kelly, Vanessa again. With all this talk and advancement and partnerships with NASA and SpaceX, would you be interested in doing any interplanetary missions, Moon, Mars, or are you like, okay, I'm done. I've done enough?
Yeah, sign me up. I'll go.
Yay.
There we go. Beam me up, Scotty. Scott.
do it.
Scott Kelly, there are so many things we could talk to you about.
I know. I have like 10 more questions.
I mean, I learned that sleeping is pretty much the same as when you're awake, right?
No.
Wait.
You weren't listening.
Sleeping is different from when you're awake.
Well, no, I know that. But I thought, I was listening to or I was reading about, because there's no gravity, you can't get comfortable when you're sleeping because it's kind of all the same.
We evolved sleeping with pressure on us. So in the absence of that, when you're floating, it's a little bit weird.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Weighted blanket?
Oh.
Maybe?
What does it feel like in the
wouldn't have
space
any
shuttle?
weight.
When you're going up in space, what does it feel like in your face? Is it like insane when you have all those G's going on your face? Is that the most insane feeling of all time?
No.
It's not. It's totally normal.
I love him shutting us down.
I know.
It's
He's
not
like,
normal, but it's not the most insane. Coming back in a Russian Soyuz is pretty crazy.
There you go. Scott, we're going to let you go this morning. We appreciate you joining us this morning. There are so many things, but thanks for, at least being with us, our crazy
Humoring us.
selves.
Yeah.
We do appreciate you.
Thank
And you have a
you.
book
Thank
out,
you, sir.
Endurance. You can get a copy now. Congratulations on the book. And come back. We have a lot more to talk about, okay?
I know.
Anytime.
Scott Kelly, thank you very much. Tell your
Thank
brother we said hello.
you.